Wheels inside and guard to go over the taller Ashley Robinson. Well, you can't say enough about the play of Dion Brown, the 6'2 senior, in the last 8 games. He's had double figs in 6 of the last 7. He was back up before. Davis looking inside for Robinson.
Now, if you kick at Robinson or Eli on one side, reverse the ball, they can pin, seal, and you can still get them on the opposite side.
Davis got all the way to the bucket. And Latoya Davis is now 1 for 4 from the field.
And now Tennessee is attacking more, something they didn't do in the first half. They were more settling for their jump shot.
Young took it right at the bucket. Ibarra almost shot it over the hoop. Got the second one to go. Great second effort. Baylor leading by 4. Zolman got space. Butts inside with the putback and missed it.
I mean, Tennessee cannot have any more wide open shots. Zolman had a chance to knock it down, and then on the putback by Butts, and the stats kind of say it all right here. Bench points. The only points Tennessee got was from Sydney Spencer.
Out-rebounded by a margin of 7 as well.
And that's highly unusual because Tennessee usually out-rebounds teams by nearly 8 a game, which fuels their transition game, which Mel talked about. If they can't run, now it's execute in the half court.
And Whitaker has given them a real battle at the point, especially in the quickness department.
Yeah, well, the last quick guard Baylor had was Sheila Lambert. They also had Danielle Crocklum a couple years ago, and they never got to a Sweet 16, and they had talent.
Ball knocked out of bounds and a foul on Dion Brown. And, Krista, what kind of adjustments did Pat Summitt talk about at halftime?
Well, guys, Coach Summitt said that the defense completely broke down. They gave up the baseline. They let them come inside. She said she's not going to make any changes with the lineup right now, but they definitely have to make some changes out on the court. And I think you can already see a little bit more intensity from this team.
Well, they certainly came out of the locker room and ran a play early and got one quick.
But one of the changes would be on the flight of the ball, like Ashley Robinson did. Go attack the ball, don't attack the player.
Basket good, and Tennessee backs within 2, but Whitaker calls thumbs down for Baylor. Get the feeling that she can get to the basket anytime she wants. Good drive and kick.
Well, she can get to the basket, and really the beauty for Baylor is they've done this, and Sophia Young, their leading scorer and rebound, only had 4 points at halftime.
Foul on the play underneath. Zolman right there with the white wristband. She's got another wristband underneath that. It's an interesting story goes along with that. She's had that wristband with her since her freshman year of high school. An uncle gave it to her, and it's kind of become a good luck charm. Has to play with them on, you know?
Didn't Jordan wear those little gray shorts, Carolina shorts, under his uniform? You know, everybody talks about how long uniforms are today. They attribute that to Michael Jordan trying to hide his Carolina gym shorts.
That one looks a little worn under the white one. Baylor within 1 moment to go. Now it's tied at 35. Stratton inside. Sophia Young powered that one up over Robinson.
She's pretty strong when she gets the ball, but see, now you get beat on the other end. I didn't see that. It's the transition program in the first half for Tennessee was on the witness protection program.
They caught Baylor napping. Tied at 37. Tough feed inside, out of bounds. Knocked out by Robinson.
If you score on one end, you better be ready to get back. That would be the bobblehead where you just turn the head and go, golly, did I miss something?
Sometimes after you score, you don't get into that home run trot.
Well, you know that we're going to put the hero shot on you, but you better get back.
A bump and a foul against Robinson. That's Tennessee's first team foul of the half. Baylor with 2 team fouls. That's Robinson's 3rd personal foul.
Mark, it is so hard to believe that the seniors on this Tennessee team, but Ashley and Robinson and Davis are looking for their first postseason title, whether it's SEC or NCAA. I mean, that just doesn't happen a whole lot at Tennessee.
Strange in the context of the Lady Vols. Here's Butts back quickly, and she was fouled. It was interesting on that last sequence on the basket by Emily Neiman. She worked hard to get open, and the guards got it to her. Neiman has really done a great job offensively for Baylor in this game. 5 of 6 from the field, including 2 for 2 from downtown. And she is the game's leading scorer with 12 points so far.
As Kim was talking about, she really has helped Sophia Young's game because you really have to go out and guard Emily Neiman, which opens up the inside for Deion Brown. And for Sophia Young, you got to have players like that on your team to make your life easier.
Nancy Robinson goes to the bench for the Lady Vols. What do they lose exactly, besides some great rebounding?
Shot blocking.
See if Baylor can take advantage of that, getting into the paint when we come back. Knotted at 39. Who would have thought? Back with more after this.
Pure Madness, brought to you by Minute Maid. Pure Madness, brought to you by Minute Maid.
It has been pure madness here today in Norman, Oklahoma, in the first half of our doubleheader. Stanford winning at the buzzer on a three-pointer. And the winner of this game gets Stanford on Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. We're tied at 39. The Lloyd Noble Center. I'm Mark Jones along with Nancy Lieber, the #1 seed Tennessee, getting all they can handle right now from Kim Mulkey-Robertson's team, Baylor, who led at the break.
This Baylor team's going to be good for years to come because, one, that young lady right there, Chelsea Whitaker.
Ball knocked out of bounds off of a Tennessee player. Tamika Scott to inbound. Ashley Robinson out of the game on the bench with 3 fouls for Tennessee. See if Baylor can take advantage of that. Oh, a step back by Neiman. Oh, that is straight butter. She stepped back. She has 15 in the game.
We are just finding so many incredible stars beyond the stars that we know of.
Scott with the rebound for the Lady Bears. Davis took it back, but she was fouled from behind by Jessica Stratton.
Emily Neiman. Her brother Jeff led Rice Owls to the NCAA championship in baseball this year. He can throw some high, hard ones. She can shoot some long, deep ones. Can you believe he was 18-0?
She posed for the picture, too. Left that hand up on the follow-through.
That's nice.
They call it the swan. It looks like a swan when you leave it up long enough. Eli underneath. Got it back a second time. Tennessee going to get a third shot. Bucks lined it up and had all day. Put back good. Great rebound by Ashley Robinson, who's checked back into the ballgame.
Mark, Tennessee had more offensive rebounds on that possession than they had the whole first half, only 4.
Whitaker back at you real quick. Whitaker with 4 points in the game.
I can't believe Whitaker only averaged 5 points a game on the regular season because she's got it going. She's got a beautiful shot, nice release.
Eli fouled underneath by Emily Neiman. Let's take a look at the journey that Tennessee took on the road here. Huge margins of victory over both Colgate and DePaul. DePaul one really wasn't even that close, Nancy.
No, it was never that close. And, you know, the other thing is this is the first time in the history of Tennessee in the tournament that they have never played a home game in Knoxville. Usually they get a first and second round game or a regional final. But the Tennessee fans are so fantastic. You see orange everywhere.
Interesting story about Eli at the foul line. Tennessee staff and players were reviewing some tape and video. Noticed that she was squinting right in front of the TV monitor. They sent her to an optometrist. This was a few months ago. She took home some new contacts, folks, after finding out for the first time that she was quote-unquote legally blind.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say she found out Pat Summitt was her coach.
Well, she could hear. You don't need to see Pat Summitt. You can hear her.
You feel her presence, but you know, she's also a fantastic swimmer, very accomplished, and she really had to be convinced by her dad to play some hoops.
Yeah. Kept going to the workout facility with her father. There's Zolman pulling up, dropping it, and it's a one-point ball game.
Mark, you just said every time Zolman shoots, she's backpedaling like she knows she's making it. That's the confidence of a great shooter. Leads the nation in foul shooting, 95%. Has only missed 4 this year.
One-point ball game, approaching 13 and a half to go. Sophia Young inside and 1. And that might be the 4th foul on Robinson. It is the 4th on Robinson.
Oh, the entry pass is what makes this happen to the big. Jessica Stratton giving the ball up early to Sophia Young right here. She lets her get position, gives it early, and now she is able to dip that shoulder, create contact. Robinson was late. If you're even, the offensive player is even with the defender, you can beat them on the flash. Robinson's got to be ahead of the offensive player.
Well, it's funny. I was trying that against our producer, Kim Belton, this morning when we were playing ball, Nancy, and didn't work for me.
Well, it worked for him at Stanford when he played back in the Depression. I remember those games clearly.
Green Depression or post?
Grainy black and white.
Okay.
No.
3-point lead for Baylor.
Isn't Kim third-time all-time leading scorer at Stanford?
Up there on the list.
We affectionately mess with him.
Eli into the paint. Got it to fall. Shira Eli, 3rd-team All-American, 1st-team All-SEC.
And the only Tennessee player to make that first team.
Great high-low and a foul called. Neiman should have had the bucket. But she'll go to the line for 2 instead. Let's take a look at the journey that Baylor has taken to make it here to Norman. Right now leading by 1. They defeated Loyola Marymount and then defeated Florida. Very impressive win over the SEC's Gators.
That was huge because I thought Carolyn Peck had done a great job. Vanessa Hayden just coming into her own as a senior, and they just got dismantled, especially in that second half.
The SEC had 4 teams remaining coming into today. They've already lost 1 in Vanderbilt in our first game, ousted by Stanford. Tennessee right now on the ropes, down by 3. And Robinson on the bench, Nancy, with 4 personal fouls. Fluker inside. Rebound, Whitaker on the move. Pull up. And she pulled the string and left it short. Bucks looking to push. Davis got the layup.
That's it. Take your defense, turn it into offense if you're Tennessee. And I know they're trying to go inside to Fluker and to Shara Eli. Eli really needs to get involved.
After that bucket, Davis with 6 points in the ball game. Let's look back on that coaching move by Summitt. Obviously, hindsight's 20/20 as always, but she brings Robinson back. She got her 4th pretty quickly, Nancy.
Well, it's a gamble, and especially against 2 people that are so quick like Brown and Young. I'm not quite sure Tennessee has played 2 undersized posts like this that are that quick.
Here's Young out top. Pardon me, Brown. Hands it off to Whitaker. Tried to force one and got bailed down on the foul by LaToya Davis. And Whitaker will go to the free throw line.
I think anytime Whitaker comes off a screen, I'd go under the screen if she's out high, especially beyond 3. And I would take away her dribble drive.
Make her shoot?
I would back off. You don't want to bail out the shooter. She's a 35% shooter from the field, 22 from 3.
That's 75% from the foul line. Makes the first of 2 to give Baylor a 2-point lead.
But what has Kim Mulkey done with this program? They've been to the NCAA tournament 3 times in her 4 years. You mentioned 4 times they've won 20 games. Her first year they didn't get to the tournament. She's young, she's bright, she's dynamic, and she's got her team in a position to get to the Elite 8.
Approaching 12 minutes to go, and they're up by 3. Butts off the flare. Stratton right on Zolman. Left it short. Boy, they played the pick and roll that time, Nancy.
Yeah, well, they try to trap it or at least force it a little bit wider.
Sophia Young missed everything. But Zolman fouled by Stratton. Zolman more than just a jump shooter, as you witnessed right there. She's able to take it to the basket.
Well, she's a pure point guard by nature, even though all we do is talk about what a great shooter she is out of Indiana. But she's smart. She's second team All-SEC. She's Dean List, 3.88. She is tireless in her work ethic to get better, especially off the bounce.
Coming into the game, she was 73 for 77 from the foul line. Now 74-78. She is the female version of J.J. Redick at the foul line, basically.
Absolutely. Brittany Jackson back into the game for Tennessee, and a great shooter in her own right. You know, she's had a problem with her knee during the course of the season.
Timeout on the floor, and a fiery frenetic Pat Summitt firing up her team. When we come back, we'll hear from Shira Eli pondering the question, careful what you ask for.
Welcome back to the Midwest Regional in Norman, Oklahoma. Tennessee finds himself down by 1, but Shira Eli of Tennessee said she was kind of looking forward to facing this Baylor team.
As far as playing Baylor, I think it's a good thing that we played them. It's always hard to beat a team more than once, and with 8 teams in our bracket that we've played already, it'd be really hard for them to beat, and to beat twice, and in some cases 3 times. So. Because they already have, a bullseye, and they want to get you back, so that's really difficult. But I'm excited about playing Baylor just because we haven't played them yet, and just see some new faces and a new kind of, a different team.
Well, I guess you got to be careful what you ask for sometimes, Nancy. Inside, the miss, rebound by Brown.
That's 3 seconds right there. You can't hang out all day. Tennessee comes out of the timeout, switches their defense to a zone, and Stratton likes that.
Well, sometimes familiarity is a good thing. Sometimes it's not. In the case of Tennessee so far, maybe they would have liked to have been a little more familiar with the Lady Bears.
I absolutely believe that. You just play better when there's no doubt and comfortability.
Butts forced one up and got it to fall. Tough shot by Tasha Butts.
And Tasha Butts is going after it. She's got 11 points. She's really lifting her game and giving Tennessee some intensity off the dribble.
Young with the miss, rebound Butts. And a chance now for Tennessee to take the lead. Wide open 3 for Butts. Young with the rebound. Good shot, though. She had a clean look, Nance?
Well, she did have a clean look. The difference in the second half for Tennessee is Neiman finally misses. At halftime, points in the paint mark were 10 for Baylor. It's now 16-16. That was the halftime adjustment. Go inside and get into transition.
Here's Eli. Zolman fouled by Stratton. She'll get 2, which are pretty automatic most of the time. Tuesday night, the NIT semis are on ESPN2 from Madison Square Garden. At 7 o'clock Eastern, Rutgers and Coach Gary Waters take on Iowa State. Following that, Luke Jackson and Oregon take on the Wolverines of Michigan. All part of ESPN and ESPN2's Week of Madness, presented by Harley-Davidson. And gotta love the way that Ernie Kent's team plays basketball. They go up and down the court. Run up a lot of points.
This time of the year, you know what? It's postseason. You have to be free. I know a lot of people say you win tournament games with defense, but I say you win it with offense. You've got to really be out there and push tempo and execute in the half court.
Tennessee regaining the lead by 1.
Mark, you mentioned it with Zolman. She's a great foul shooter. The last time she missed a foul shot was back in January against Duke.
No foul on that play as Brown came up short on the jumper, knocked out of bounds. And it'll be Baylor basketball.
That was a great job by Whitaker. If somebody's ahead of you, you're supposed to dig on the ball from behind, and she was relentless.
Here's why Mulkey Robertson looked so confused.
Well, there was a walk before the foul.
Stratton comes back with a 3, leaving no doubt about that one. Jessica Stratton has 14.
That just might get Tennessee out of their 2-3 zone. She's hit 2 shots from the same side of the floor, Stratton.
Here's Eli. Worked the shot for Jackson, who missed everything. Battle underneath. Fluker muscled it up and in. Boy, out of nowhere, she wrestled the ball away from some of her own teammates even and got the hoop, tied at 55.
Well, she models herself after Shaquille O'Neal, and she's a big, strong body. They're waiting for her to develop.
Inside, a foul. As Sophia Young got hacked, she'll go to the line for 2. With 8:48 to go, at what point does Pat Summitt consider bringing back Ashley Robinson, who has 4 personal fouls, as she talks to her bench?
Did we not see this with Rutgers and Vivian Stringer when Cappy Pondexter was on the bench with 4 fouls? And, you know, I think you got to bring them back at least around the 5-minute mark.
Tried to bring her back with just 3 fouls, and she picked up her 4th pretty quickly. Baylor with a 1-point lead off the made foul shot by Sophia Young.
But you also have to trust that Ashley Robinson is going to have to be smart. If she comes back in the game and somebody's going for a layup, you got to back off. You got to let them score it so they have you on the floor down the stretch.
2-point game after the Young free throw. Tennessee, the #1 seed, on the ropes right now. They've not played a game this close in a while. Eli on the block. Wheels on Young and gets it to go. That's what you get with senior leadership and senior skills.
She's got such great footwork, especially off the dribble. If you take away her spin, she's got step through. She's got counter moves.
Not bad for someone who's legally blind, huh? Or was. Jump shot no good on the baseline by Brown. Rebound, Neiman. Boy, that is a shooter's touch. Softly rolling in. Neiman has 19.
But Neiman has come off the bench. She only averages 9.8 points on the season. But certainly she stepped it up in the Florida game. She had 16 points in that game, so that fueled her confidence.
Butts with an offensive foul. She put an elbow right in Whitaker's kitchen. A great day of women's college basketball. Back with more, and a look at it after this. Baylor by 2 with 7:43 to go. An amazing day of women's college basketball. In the first game, Stanford against Bandy. In the first half, it was all the incomparable Nicole Powell. She had a double-double. Stanford led at the break, but Bandy came back behind Jen Benningfield in the second half. And then, with Bandy leading by 1 in the game's dying seconds, Powell wheeling into the paint and finding Kelly Szymanski wide open for a 3 and the win. As Stanford won at 57-55, and they will meet the winner of this run between Tennessee and Baylor. Another intriguing finish coming up. 7:42 to go. 6 ties, 8 lead changes. Largest lead, only 6 points.
The biggest factor, Mark, in the game has been the rebounding and shots like that that are wide open coming out of timeouts by Stratton.
Baylor now leading by 5. Jessica Stratton, the Conference Player of the Week in the Big 12 a couple of months ago. She won it. Academic All-Big 12. Right now, trying to take Tennessee to school. $7:11 to go. Pat Summitt, your move next.
Hey, life on the street stinks.
We need odor protection.
Only Odor Eaters has new Sorbitex technology to absorb sweat and destroy odor on contact.
Don't just fight foot odor and wetness.
Whack it with Odor Eaters Ultra Comfort insoles.
Feel what it's like to have the hot hand in the hottest selling car in its class. Pontiac Vibe. official performance machine of the NCAA Women's Final Four.
Baby Ruth, the real deal, has crunchy, whole roasted peanuts. The real deal has chewy nougat. The real deal has rich, creamy caramel. Because whether you're the man in the middle, the guy between the pipes, or a great-tasting candy bar, being the real deal is about what's on the inside. Baby Ruth from Nestle, the real deal.
Later on, LeBron James is here, and we'll have this, something like that. Let's just run through it. Yeah, okay. No, I think it's sold out, actually. Let me just start like that. Whoa! Are you guys rolling on this? That's a 90-footer. That is amazing. Oh, my. Did you get that? You have that, right?
Want to take off? Enterprise Rent-A-Car has takeoff weekend specials from $9.99 a day. That's Friday to Monday, just $9.99 a day. So take off this weekend. Log on to enterprise.com or call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR.
An upset brewing on the Oklahoma Plains. Baylor leading by 5 with 7:11 to go in the second half. And tomorrow, going to punch a couple of tickets. The first two to New Orleans. Number 2, UConn taking on number 1 seed Penn State. Followed by the West Regional Final. LSU taking on Georgia. That's at 9 Eastern Time. There's a look at Jessica Stratton's mother, Kathy. And a foul against the Lady Vols.
I was just going to say this is a huge possession for Tennessee. I don't know why they feel like they have to physically knock people over. Butts did that. Eli did that. Baylor's feistiness has gotten to Tennessee. Tennessee is used to being dominant physically.
Let's go to Krista on some of those sideline adjustments. Krista?
Well, guys, it's been intense over here on the sideline. It was a timeout by Coach Summit. She told her team she wants them to drive, run over somebody, and obviously she's wanting to get some intensity. She said they better get back on defense. Then she calls this timeout, and in big print it said defense and boards, and she's frustrated with the intensity of this team right now.
It's picking up. Brown with the layup. A 7-point lead, the biggest of the game for either team. Baylor with the lead. Robinson back in, and that's her 5th. She's finished. Terminated.
But, Mark, what's happening for Tennessee is they're taking Pat's word literally. They're not reading the defense. They're not reading the situation. And I think they need to get their composure back.
When you say intensity, she really means focused intensity.
Yeah, well, Ashley Robinson wasn't on the basketball court for 10 seconds, and that is not acting. That is great position by Emily Neiman.
Robinson is done. 7 points, a couple of rebounds. Her lowest point total since 2 against UConn.
Yeah, you can just see the intensity on the guys, on the faces of them, and this is a team that never was to a Sweet 16.
Whitaker dropped a nice dime around the world. Young got it back, and this Baylor team is geeked up and fired up. Leading by 7 with 6:30 to go, and the confidence of Whitaker to go around the world on the pass.
Look at this. This is showtime. She gets in the open court. She beats the defender. What a beautiful play, and then the great rebound by Young. You know, you're doing this on a major stage to Deion Brown.
Young missing the free throw. This might be the one hole in her game. She averages 17 and 9 per contest, but only 61% on the season from the charity stripe. Makes the second of 2. The lead is up to 8. Tennessee has not played a close game in the first 2 games of this NCAA tournament. They're certainly being tested here. Davis. Butts with the rebound, sneaking in there.
As long as Baylor can just play position defense and not stop the clock and foul.
Eli, partially blocked. The freshman Spencer battling. They'll get another crack and finally make one. LaToya Davis from the baseline. Under 6 minutes to go. The lead is 6 points.
Mark, how tough is it when you have to operate solely in your half-court offense? You can't get any points off your defense, transition, or offensive rebounds when you average 15 a game and you only have 9 thus far.
Stratton cut off at the baseline, fell out of bounds. And Tennessee is going to come back and try and cut it to 4.
It's been 3 years since 2001 when Baylor first got in and qualified for the NCAA tournament. Kim Mulkey was the architect of that team. They've never been to a Sweet 16. They have now.
Foul is going to be against Baylor. That's the 3rd on Whitaker. And LaToya Davis will go to the foul line. Baylor making their first appearance, as you mentioned, in the Sweet 16. Sometimes, Nancy, when you get to this point, people say, you know what, we're not just happy to be here. We want to finish the job. And this is going to really test Mulkey Robertson's crew. Can they close this game out?
And that's you make a great point closing it out. For Tennessee, they're not used to being in this position. This would be a major upset if Baylor continues what they're doing and wins this game and moves on.
Timeout, Lady Bears. 26-8 overall, but like I mentioned, 7 of their 8 losses this season were against teams ranked in the top 15 or higher. Playing in a very competitive Big 12 conference, although the NCAA tournament has not been kind to the Big 12 so far.
No, it has not been. They did get 7 teams in the Big East. Had 8 teams in the Big 12, 7, and the Big 10 had 6. And, you know, let's not forget the last 4 national championships have been won by the Big East. 3 by Connecticut, 1 by Notre Dame.
Take a look at our ESPN2 Harley-Davidson game plan. Baylor ended the half on a 14-4 run. And Emily Neiman has really carried the load offensively for the Lady Bears. Wide open coming off that baseline screen.
And that's really been one of the problems. Tennessee switches to a 2-3 zone to Neiman.
Off the rim. They had done the last 2 times coming out of timeouts, had gotten scores coming out of the timeouts. This time it was different.
Well, that was a quick shot. Remember, we talked about against the zone, you want to shift it, reverse the ball, and then find your shot.
Davis missing. Eli with the putback, and she's fouled. Tyra Eli, the junior, 6'2", from Indianapolis, Indiana, will go to the line. She's just a 63% free throw shooter on the year. All SEC candidate. Talked about the fact that didn't start off playing basketball, started off in the swimming pool. But finally her father said, hey, why don't you try this little basketball, this leather thing, this orange pumpkin thing, and shoot it through the hoop. Worked out for her.
Well, it certainly has worked out for her, but this is good for Tennessee because they have a chance to get a bucket and stop the clock.
Lead is 3. Pass a little bit high and ill-advised by Chelsea Whitaker. That's the 12th turnover for Mulkey Robertson's team.
This is really where you want to start thinking about time, score, possession. That's not the pass you need. You don't need a home run pass. You need to take possession basketball into effect right now.
Butts getting a screen from Spencer. Zolman being chased all over by Stratton. Eli. Rebound by Davis. Going to be a foul on the ground against Baylor. Boy, LaToya Davis went high for that board.
Absolutely.
That's the 4th foul on Whitaker.
Tremendous hops coming from the weak side. The senior LaToya Davis, who had 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists last game against DePaul.
She has a chance to bring her team to within 1. If you're just joining us, Tennessee lost their starting center, Ashley Robinson, with 5 fouls. She left the game with 7 points. Really hasn't bothered them much since, though. Since the time that she fouled out, they've pulled closer now to within 1.
Well, they're taking their time a little bit more in the half-court offense. They're crashing the offensive glass, which is their specialty.
Whitaker almost lost the handle again. Brown. Brown inside. Got it to fall. Brown now with 6 points. And the lead back up to 3. And what about Whitaker with 4 fouls? You leave her in? Do you have to leave her in?
You have to leave Whitaker in. She's going to play the last 3:49 no matter what. But see, this is where you miss Lori Moore. She just gave so much leadership to this basketball team.
Butts on the block and fouled. Who's it going to be against? It went right at Whitaker because she has 4 fouls. It's against number 33, Sophia Young, instead.
Well, Butts trying to post Whitaker up on the low block, using her height, using her strength. I thought she did a really nice job of pinning her, and Young got the foul.
Talked about Lori Moore. Saw her before the game. She is in the midst of her arduous rehabilitation program on her knee, and says that she is right on schedule. All our wishes and hopes out to her that she recovers and is back for next year. Right now, her team doing without her and trailing by 2. Pat Summitt drawing on all of her experience to bring her team back. We'll be back after this.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is brought to you by Odor Eaters. Put Odor Eaters in, kick foot odor and wetness out.
Baylor leading by a pair, 3:38 to go in the second half. The winner of this one gets Stanford on Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Take me inside the Baylor huddle. And what are they thinking right now?
Well, clearly they're thinking about moving the ball. I knew Tennessee would come out in man-to-man, not in their 2-3 zone after they were burned. You've got to get good possessions. You go inside to Young.
They go to their money, but she came up short.
Well, they had the matchup they wanted, one-on-one, Young going to the rim.
Tasha Butts going to go right at Whitaker. Whitaker has 4 fouls now. Keep that in mind.
Now they want to go to Shara Eli on the inside.
And she ties the game at 67. Let's go to Chris on some of those sideline adjustments by Baylor.
Guys, Coach Mulkey Robertson told her team, don't turn it over, give me some rebounds, and you're going to shock the world. And they said they got to go inside and get it into Emily Neiman. You guys have been talking about her all game.
Well, they're looking inside to Brown. They go a little high-low. Tough pass by Young. An ill-advised one.
And that is super defense by Shara Eli. We talk about her offense, but she read the pass and went up high. You can't force it to Sophia Young. You got to get her when she's open.
Kick ball.
Eli doing such a good job. Good ball pressure. Allowed her to get tighter. See right there, Spencer going up on the pass, and she just didn't get enough air on it on that high-low for Baylor.
Zolman coming off the screen. Got a look. Rebound Young. Whitaker looking for an easy one. Tennessee getting back in transition on defense. Boy, Spencer and Young were battling inside. Timeout called by Mulkey Robertson. With 2:02 to go. We saw a great game earlier today as Stanford won at the buzzer to move on to the next round. The Elite Eight. It'll be Baylor or Tennessee getting Stanford Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Now, interesting that Mulkey Robertson said coming into this game, Nancy, hey, I'm not going to outcoach Pat Summitt. It's up to you guys, but truth be told, she has done a nice job, and that's evidenced by some of the work she's done. Coming out of timeout, they've gotten some nice timely buckets.
Well, they understood that Pat was going to change her defense. I mean, I think everybody has tendencies. You watch game film. The most important thing, it's a player's game. No matter what you say, the preparation is about coaching. The game, once the ball gets tossed up, it's about the players executing. Certainly the Baylor bench has done that. They've outscored Tennessee 25-7.
Under 2 minutes to go. Boy, tonight defense all over. Whitaker got into the lane, and that's a charge. And that is her 5th personal foul she's done.
Golly, you just can't do that coming out of a timeout, knowing you've got 4 fouls already. There's no need for it. Just keep the ball in the middle of the floor because they're just going to sit and wait on you. They know you want to get to the iron. Look at Zolman. Great job just waiting. She knew that Whitaker was not going to pull up. That's where Isaiah Thomas once said, some guys have great games to the rim. Some have great three-point shooting games. It's the mid-range game that makes you special.
Stop and pull up. Couldn't find the breaks that time, and she's on the bench now. Eli at the elbow. For the lead, got it. And Tennessee leads by a pair. She's got 19.
Eli told us yesterday, she said, you know what? I like going off the dribble because I can use my spin and my speed.
Young inside. Got a nice look and made it count. Sophia Young counters for Baylor. With 1:10 to go. Tied at 69.
Now that's the thing when you have a team that doesn't have one star. You can move the ball around the perimeter, but I think they're going inside to Eli.
And she got fouled that time.
She's got the confidence, Mark. She's feeling it. She's a junior. A year ago, she averaged about 9 points a game. She is the one on the inside.
Under a minute to play. Shira Eli at the line. And that was the 4th personal foul on Sophia Young.
Those shots will kill you.
Now, the bigger question for Baylor, how do they adjust without Whitaker? Who's going to run the point? And how well will they run it? 2 misses and a chance for Baylor to take the lead. Stratton slides over to the point spot.
Well, that takes Stratton away from using her strength, which is shooting the ball off the perimeter. You just want to keep her in front of you. You don't want to overcommit if you're Davis on her.
Inside to Brown. Off the miss. Stolen by Zolman. Great hustle, but out of bounds. Boy, Shauna Zolman has done a wonderful job defensively, stepping in to draw the charge on Whitaker for 5th foul on the last sequence, and almost coming up with a defensive gem there.
This is just beautiful. This is why you play the game. This is why I love the NCAA tournament. It's one and done. Zolman giving it everything she has.
Well, Pat Summitt said, hey, Shauna, you're only grading out at about 65%. She said that a few games ago. Not in this one. Not when you watch the tape on this one, Nancy.
No, she won't be happy, but give Baylor credit for what they've done on both ends.
Tomorrow on ESPN, the first 2 tickets will be punched to New Orleans. And the Final Four at 7 in the East region. Number 1, Penn State, and Kelly Mazzatti play number 2. And DT time, Diana Taurasi in Hartford. Then at 9 in the West, number 4 LSU against number 3 seed Georgia. Janice Hartrick has had a spectacular second half of the season for the Lady Bulldogs.
Oh, certainly, but I'll tell you what, Penn State proved to me that they can win without Kelly Mazzanti putting up big numbers.
Here's look at your game reset. Tennessee with 3 timeouts remaining, so just 1 for Baylor.
There's 28 seconds on the shot clock. Baylor's going to have a good look. They don't have to take a quick shot, but Tennessee will have a chance for a last possession. That's if Baylor uses a lot of the clock. Now, if Baylor takes a quick shot, they might have a chance to get the ball back on the final possession.
Stratton's got to do the handling now. How much does that hurt her in terms of her shooting?
Well, it keeps her out of the mix, but Tennessee's going to switch guard to guard and big to big.
In a man defense, they flatten it out, a 1-4 set. Stratton at the top.
I would bet she would go Emily Neiman side. She's going to try and penetrate, draw, and kick, similar to what we saw Nicole Powell do in game 1.
Neiman on the right side of the floor, 8 on the shot clock. Time to go with it. The play blows up. Eli on the break. She blew the layup. And a foul going to be called Has time expired? Or is the foul going to stand? The officials will confer and decide whether there will be a Baylor foul on the loose ball or has time expired.
Wow. That was a layup to win and to advance to the Elite Eight.
Eli not only felt the defense on her back, but probably more than anything else, Nancy, the clock.
Yes, she was dealing with two pieces of information, clock and pressure.
They will go to the TV monitor and review the play.
You have to do that, and the officials are doing a great job. Robert Trammell going up, checking out for Charles Gonzalez.
Here's how it happened. Now there's the miss. Where's the foul? That's the question. And how much time was left? There's the foul.
There was time.
You think? I'm not so sure that the foul didn't occur as it hit zeros across the scoreboard. See them pointing to the time. There's the miss. Jessica Stratton fouled a Tennessee player.
.2. Yes, .2. I think there was .2, .3 when the foul occurred.
Here's what they're looking at, Nancy. Now watch when Stratton makes the foul.
It was after the tip by Davis.
The foul will be right as Stratton comes back in bounds. Foul is right
there, .3.
there.
There's still time on the clock.
And it appears that the player that was fouled was LaToya Davis. You'll be able to tell by the reaction of the coaches. They will go to the line and shoot.
The right call was made by this officiating crew. They did what they had to. They went to the monitor.
But do you even make that call here? Butts fouled right there. Is that two players going? I guess that's a foul. They called it a foul.
Butts is a 80% foul shooter.
With .2 to go in the game. And they're going to try and ice her. Mulkey Robertson calls her last timeout. Let's take one more look at the entire sequence of events. Remember, Baylor didn't even get a shot at the basket, Nancy, coming out of the timeout.
Right, well, Eli had the layup right here. She didn't even come close. I mean, that ball didn't even hit the white square. And the great tip right there by Davis. And Butts was going after the offensive rebound.
Look at the reaction of Mulkey Robertson.
She's been there. You know, she's got her kids here. Her husband, Randy, her kids, her daughter, Mackenzie, and Kramer. They are a basketball family.
Tasha Butts will go to the line. For the lead. Ignoring the chorus of boos.
How many times as a kid did you go to the line and go, 0 time on the clock? I'm at the line. You put it up. You've dreamt this your whole life. Tasha Butts, you're living it as a senior.
And she knocks down both. No timeouts remaining for Baylor. It's over. A controversial and close ending as Tennessee escapes courtesy of 2 foul shots by Tasha Butts. The foul was committed by Jessica Stratton with .2 seconds to go. They went to the television monitor. A reviewable scenario. And a sour ending on a really spectacular season by the Baylor Lady Bears.
You know, you can question whether the foul should have been called incidental contact or not. there was time on the clock. That's the only thing.
One more look at the final sequence. Stratton couldn't find someone to pass it to. Davis with the steal. Eli missed the layup, but watch Stratton coming back inbounds for Baylor. The foul right there.
I mean, two players going for the ball.
Some would argue
that you should let the players win it.
That you should leave it in the hands of the players. Let's go to Krista with Eli and Butts.
Okay.
Krista? Krista?
All right, with me, two of the big stars of this game, and really the reason they came back, leadership right here. Shira, what were you guys thinking? I know the timeouts were pretty intense there late in the game.
It was pretty intense, but all we were thinking is that we didn't want to go home. We worked so hard this year. This could have been our last game, but we wanted to play like it wasn't.
Big free throws at the end of the game. You missed a couple there in a row. What were you thinking at the line for the last two?
I was just thinking about every day in practice. We practice those shots. That's what you're shooting for, to hit them and see your team, you know, in home for a victory. So it was nothing. It was nothing.
Coach, I'm impressed. I was getting a little nervous there watching some of those timeouts, but you brought this team together. What changed? What did your team do there at the end?
Well, I thought we fought a lot harder on the boards. Our defensive intensity picked up tremendously. And then obviously we made the defensive stop we had to make in the end to even put ourselves in a position. It's unfortunate a game has to go down the wire like this because Baylor played really, really tough. But I'm proud of our team, obviously, for hanging on and finding a way to win, which they've done a lot this year. It's not easy on the coaching staff, but I'm really proud of them.
How did you get them to focus in such a tight situation like the one at the end of the game?
Well, actually, that's when we are at our best. When we get in those situations, we've been in them a lot this year. And for Tasha, when she went to the free throw line, I said, did you rather me shoot him or you? I think she wanted to shoot him.
I think you're right. Congratulations, you guys. We will see you in the finals. All right, Mark, back to you guys.
All right, Krista, you know what? Summit benched Butts earlier in the year for a couple of games for lack of effort defensively, but she won her job back and made maybe the two biggest shots of the year for Tennessee a few moments ago. The final score, Tennessee winning 71-69. Stay tuned. Street Ball, the N1 Mixtape Tour is up next on ESPN2. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So Tennessee wins and will face Stanford on Tuesday night. The rematch for the right to go to the Final Four, New Orleans. Good night, everybody, from Oklahoma.
Reese Davis, Nell Fortner, Stacey Dale Schumann with you in the studio, and I don't know any other way to say it, but what a horrible way to end a terrific basketball game. Tennessee marches on. You don't want to take anything away from the Lady Vols. They might very well have won the game in overtime. But that is a horrible way to end the game as we take a look at this last sequence again. Baylor had the ball, committed the turnover. Shira Eli had a chance to win it on the layup. Now, what about making the call here?
I just think this is a total no call right here. Baylor played well enough to win the game. Tennessee fought back hard. This is a no call. Both players are going for the ball. Let the players decide. Let them go into overtime. I can't believe the official blew the whistle.
This is a travesty, Reese. This is an embarrassment to the women's game, in my opinion. You do not make a call like that down the stretch, especially when there was no foul. This makes me a little bit angry.
Just incidental contact. Two players going for a loose ball at the end of the game. You just have to believe that the officials have the presence of mind not to blow the whistle there.
Well, I'm shocked.
I mean, if there's a foul, a hack on a shot, that's one thing. But this is not what that was.
Exactly. Again, I'm shocked. I don't know if I've ever seen a call like this in the last tick of the clock. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And I just think it's unfortunate for the players that, I mean, Baylor played very well. They played extremely hard. Again, Tennessee fought hard to get back in the game, but let the players decide it.
And we respect officials. We respect the job. It's not easy to go out and officiate a basketball game, but you can't decide. You have to let players dictate the outcome of a game. That should have been an overtime basketball game.
All right, as it is, Tennessee moves on to the Elite Eight, and Kim Mulkey-Robertson, the head coach of Baylor, we did ask her for a post-game interview, and obviously some emotions at the moment. She turned down that request right now. So now here's how we stand in the NCAA Women's Championship, the Midwest and the West. It'll be Tennessee against Stanford on Tuesday night for the right to move on to New Orleans, and in Seattle tomorrow night, LSU and Georgia, a couple of SEC foes, 4 seed and the 3 seed, squaring off out there. Penn State and Connecticut. Monday night, 7 o'clock, Kelly Mazzanti against Diana Taurasi. You see Duke and Minnesota. That'll be Tuesday night as well. But that Monday night game between the Lady Lions and the Huskies, that ought to be a classic.
It should. I can't wait to see what Tanisha Wright is going to do to Diana Taurasi to try to shut her down and keep her from getting anybody else involved in the game.
On a lighter note, I can't wait to see Mazzanti score the basketball quickest release in the game.
We've got you simmered down a little bit now. You'll be able to see the UConn-Penn State game on ESPN HD as well. Diana Taurasi trying to take her team back to the Final Four. And Nicole Powell lifted Stanford into the round of 8 with a thrilling victory at the end against Vanderbilt with Kelly Szymanski hitting the shot. She, too, another one of the seniors who have elevated the level of prominence of the women's game, trying to make a great run in her final chapter of the NCAA tournament.
Well, if she keeps playing the way she's playing right now, watch out for Stanford, because Nicole Powell literally is putting this team on her back, and they're moving forward. I mean, she's just phenomenal right here.
Here's the final play of the game against Vanderbilt in the closing second.
Great presence of mind by Powell. There's no question the ball needed to be in her hands, but great job, Kelly Szymanski, moving without the basketball, getting to the open spot so Nicole could see her and nailing the three.
So 57-55, Stanford moves on. They'll get Tennessee next. You know, Stanford had only made one other trip, even to the Sweet 16, since that infamous 1-16 loss to Harvard back in 1998, and they're making the most of it right now. So a great day of basketball, so it ends on a sour note with the call in the Tennessee-Baylor game.
Well, it's unfortunate. I don't think anybody wants a game to end like that, but it happened, and we move on.
And I said it, Reese, we respect the referees, but those calls shouldn't affect basketball games.
It's going to be difficult for those Baylor kids to put that one in their rearview mirror, I'm sure, but Tennessee, no matter how they felt about it, they'll have to take the victory. I'm sure they will. They'll get Stanford in the Elite Eight. We'll see you Monday night, 7 o'clock for Penn State and UConn.